Okay. Greetings, everybody. Namaskar. Again, we continue with our narrative of the great epic, the Mahabharata of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasadeva. We're currently on the Abhimanyu Vardha Parva, the death of Abhimanyu. It's a very sad section, full of pathos, and we're currently on what the critical edition would consider an interpolation. And when we finish that, we'll be back on the critical edition text. So I'll say Mangalacharana, and then Mark is going to begin because he's got a nice copy of the book. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sa Jivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Over to you, Mark.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Narada said, Dushmanta's son, Bharata, O Srinjaya, we hear, fell prey to death, not only a child living in the forest. While only a child living in the forest, he achieved feats incapable of being achieved by others. Endued with great strength, he speedily deprived the very lions, white as snow and armed with teeth and claws, of all their prowess, and dragged them and bound them at his pleasure. He used to check tigers also that were fiercer and more ruthless than lions, and bring them to subjection. Seizing other beasts of prey possessed of great might, and even huge elephants dyed with red arsenic and spotted with other liquid minerals by their teeth and tusks, he used to bring them to subjection, causing their mouths to become dry or obliging them to fly away. Possessed of great might, he used also to drag the mightiest of buffaloes, and in consequence of his strength, he checked proud lions by hundreds and powerful shrimaras and horned rhinoceroses and other animals, binding them by their necks and crushing them to within an inch of their lives. He let them go. For those feats of his, the of all. His mother forbade him. Endued with great prowess, he performed 100 horse sacrifices on the banks of the Yamuna, 300 on the banks of the Ganga. Having performed these sacrifices, he once more performed 1,000 horse sacrifices and 100 Rajasuyas, great sacrifices in which his gifts also to the Brahmanas were
Mark, your video is freezing a lot.
Other sacrifices again, such as Agnishtoma, the Iratra.
Mark, I think you should go in the house. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is not strong enough.
Okay. Do you want to pause the thing? Or?
No, you just carry on.
Sorry, folks. Grab that chai. Okay. Okay. Sorry about this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so sorry. Okay. Okay. Shall I continue? Okay.
Yes, please continue.
Okay. Having performed these sacrifices, he once more performed 1,000 horse sacrifices and 100 Rajasuyas, great sacrifices in which his gifts also to the Brahmanas were very profuse. Other sacrifices again, such as the Agnishtoma, the Atiratra, the Ukta, and the Viswajit, he performed together with thousands and thousands of Vajapayas and completed without any impediment. The son of Shakuntala, having performed all these, gratified the Brahmanas with presents of wealth. Possessed of great fame, Bharata then gave 10,000 billions of coins made of the most pure gold unto Kanwa, who had brought up his mother Shakuntala as his own daughter. The gods, with Indra at their head, accompanied by the Brahmanas coming to his sacrifice, set up his sacrificial stake made entirely of gold and measuring in width 100 vyamas. And imperial Bharata, of noble soul, that victor over all foes, that monarch never conquered by any enemy, gave away unto the Brahmanas beautiful horses and elephants and cars decked with gold, and beautiful gems of all kinds, and camels and goats and sheep and slaves, male and female, and wealth and grains and milch cows with calves and villages and fields, and diverse kinds of robes, numbering by millions and millions. When he died, O Srinjaya, who was superior to thee in respect of the four cardinal virtues, and who superior to thee was, therefore, much superior to thy son, thou shouldst not, saying, O Swaitya, grieve for the latter, who performed no sacrifice and made no sacrificial present. Section 69. Yes. Narada said, Vena's son, King Prithu, O Srinjaya, we hear, fell prey to death. In the Rajasuya sacrifice he performed, the great rishis installed him as emperor of the world. He vanquished all, and his achievements became known all over the world. For this he came to be called Prithu, the celebrated. And because he protected all people from wounds and injuries, for this he became a true Kshatriya. Beholding Vena's son, Prithu, all his subjects said, we are highly pleased with him. In consequence of this affection that he enjoyed of his subjects, he came to be called a Raja. During the time of Prithu, the earth, without being cultivated, yielded crops in sufficiency. All the kine, again, yielded milk whenever they were touched. Every lotus was full of honey, and the kusha blades were all of gold, agreeable to the touch and otherwise delightful. And the subjects of Prithu made clothes of these blades, and the beds also on which they lay. All the fruits were soft and sweet, like unto amrit in taste. And these constituted the food of his subjects, none amongst whom ever had to starve. And all men in Prithu's time were hale and hearty, and all their wishes were crowned with fruition. They had nothing to fear. On trees or in caves they dwelt as they liked. His dominions were not distributed unto provinces and towns. The people lived happily and in joy as each desired. When King Prithu went to the sea, the waves became solid. The very mountains used to yield him openings that he might pass through them. The standard of his car never broke, obstructed by anything. Once on a time, the tall trees of the forest, the mountains, the gods, the asuras, men, snakes, 7 rishis, the apsaras, and the pitris, all came to Prithu, seated at his ease, and addressing him said, Thou art our emperor, thou art our king, thou art our protector and father, thou art our lord. Therefore, O great king, give us boons after our own hearts, through which we may forever obtain gratification and joy. Unto them, Prithu, the son of Vena, said, So be it. Then taking up his Ajagava bow and some terrible arrows, the like of which existed not, he reflected for a moment. He then addressed the earth, saying, Come quickly, O earth, yield to these the milk they desire. From that, blessed be thou, I will give them the food they solicit. Thus addressed by him, the earth said, It behoveth thee, O hero, to regard me as thy daughter. Prithu answered, so be it. And then that great ascetic, his passions under control, made all arrangements for milking the earth. And then the entire assemblage of creatures began to milk the earth. And first of all, the tall trees of the forest rose for milking her. The earth then, full of affection, stood there, desiring a calf, a milker, and vessels wherein to hold the milk. Then the blossoming Sala became the calf, the banyan became the milker, torn buds became the milk, and the auspicious fig tree became the vessel. Next, the mountains milked her. The eastern hill whereon the sun rises became the calf. The prince of the mountains, viz. Meru, became the milker. The diverse gems and deciduous herbs became the milk, and the stones became the vessels for holding that milk. Next, one of the gods became the milker, and all things capable of bestowing energy and strength became the coveted milk. The Asuras then milked the earth, having wine for their milk, and using an unbaked pot for their vessel. In that act, Dvimurtan became the milker, and Virochana the calf. The human beings milked the earth for cultivation and crops. The self-created Manu became their calf, and Prithu himself the milker. Next, the snakes milked the earth, getting poison as the milk, and using a vessel made of a gourd. Dhritarashtra became the milker, and Takshaka the calf. The 7 rishis, capable of producing everything by their fiat, then milked the earth, getting the Vedas as their milk. Brihaspati became the milker. The Chandas were the vessel, and the excellent Soma the calf. The Yakshas milking the earth got the power of disappearance at will as the milk in an unbaked pot. Vaishravana, Kubera, became their milker, and Vrishadhwaja their calf. The Gandharvas and the Apsaras milked all fragrant perfumes in a vessel made of a lotus leaf. Chitraratha became their calf, and the puissant Vishwaruchi their milker. The Pitris milked the earth, getting Swaha as their milk in a vessel of silver. Yama, the son of Vivaswat, became their calf, and the destroyer Antaka their milker. Even thus was the earth milked by that assemblage of creatures, who all got for milk what they each desired. The very calves and vessels employed by them are existing to this day, and may always be seen. The powerful Prithu, the son of Vena, performing various sacrifices, gratified all creatures in respect of all their desires by gifts of articles agreeable to their hearts. And he caused golden images to be made of every article on earth, and bestowed them all on the Brahmanas as his great horse sacrifice. The king caused 660,000 elephants to be made of gold, and all those he gave away to the Brahmanas. And this whole earth also the king caused to be decked with jewels and gems and gold, and gave her away unto the Brahmanas. When he died, O Srinjaya, who was superior to thee as regards the 4 cardinal virtues, and who, superior to thee, was therefore much superior to thy son, thou shouldst not, saying, O Swaitya, grieve for the latter, who performed no sacrifice and made no sacrificial present. Section 70. Narada said, even the great ascetic Rama, the hero worshipped by all heroes, that son of Jamadagni, that would be Parasuram, of great fame, will die without being contented with the period of his life. Rooting out all evils from the earth, he caused the primeval Yuga to set in. Having obtained unrivaled prosperity, no fault could be seen in him. His father having been slain, and his calf having been stolen by the Kshatriyas, he, without any boast, slew Kartavirya, who had never been vanquished before by foes. With his bow he slew 64 times 10,000 Kshatriyas already within the jaws of death. In that slaughter were included 14,000 Brahma-hating Kshatriyas of the Dantakura country, all of whom he slew. Of the Hayhayas, he slew 1,000 with his short club, 1,000 with his sword, and 1,000 by hanging. Heroic warriors with their cars, steeds, and elephants lay dead on the field, slain by the wise son of Jamadagni, enraged at the slaughter of his father. And Rama on that occasion slew 10,000 Kshatriyas with his axe. He could not quietly bear the furious speeches uttered by those foes of his. And when many foremost of Brahmanas uttered exclamations mentioning the name of Rama of Brigu's race, then the valiant son of Jamadagni, proceeding against the Kashmiras, the Daradas, the Kuntis, the Kshudrakas, the Malavas, the Angas, the Vangas, the Kalingas, the Videhas, the Tamralitakas, the Rakshovahas, the Vitahotras, the Trigartas, the Martikavatas, counting by thousands, slew them all by means of his whetted shafts. Proceeding from province to province, he thus slew thousands of crores of Kshatriyas, creating a deluge of blood and filling many lakes also with blood as red as Indrajopakas, or the wild fruit called Vandujiva, and bringing up all the 18 islands of which the earth is composed under his subjection. That son of Brigu's race performed 100 sacrifices of great merit, all of which he completed, and in all of which the presents he made unto the Brahmanas were profuse. The sacrificial altar, 18 nalas high, made entirely of gold, and constructed according to the ordinance, full of diverse kinds of jewels and gems, and decked with hundreds of standards. And this earth, abounding in domestic and wild animals, were accepted by Kasyapa as a sacrificial present made unto him by Rama, the son of Jamadagni, as Parashuram. And Rama also gave him many thousands prodigious elephants, all adorned with gold. Indeed, freeing the earth from all robbers and making her teem with honest and grateful inhabitants, Rama gave away to Kasyapa his great horse sacrifice. Gave her away. Sorry, let me start that again. Indeed, freeing the earth from all robbers and making her a team with honest and graceful inhabitants, Rama gave her away to Kasyapa at his great horse sacrifice, her being the earth. Devi. Having divested the earth of Kshatriyas for 21 times, and having performed hundreds of sacrifices, the puissant hero gave away the earth to the Brahmanas, and it was Marichi, Kasyapa, who accepted from him the earth with her 7 islands. Then Kasyapa said unto Rama, Go out of the earth at my command. At the word of Kasyapa, the foremost of warriors, desirous of obeying the Brahmana's behest, caused by his arrows the very ocean to stand aside, and repairing to that best of mountains called Mahendra, continued to live there. Even that enhancer of the fame of the Brigus, possessed of such numberless virtues, that the famous son of Jamadagni of great splendor will die. Superior to thy son, even he will die. Do not therefore grieve for thy son, who performed no sacrifice and made no sacrificial presents. All these superior to thee as regards as the 4 cardinal virtues, and as regards also 100 other merits, all these foremost of men have died, O Srinjaya, and they that are like them will also die. Section 71.
Hey, Mark, I
Yes.
was just reading today, I noticed in the Bhagavad, he said how Parashuram will be the next Vyasa. At the end of the next Dwapara Yuga, he will take the role of Vyasa.
Wow.
Yeah, just
interesting.
Anyway,
interesting.
Sorry. Yeah, carry on.
Okay. Section 71. Hare Krishna. Vyasa said, Hearing this sacred history of 16 kings capable of enhancing the period of life of the listener, King Srinjaya remained silent without saying anything. The illustrious Rishi Narada then said unto him thus, sitting silent, O thou of great splendor, hast thou heard those histories recited by me, and hast thou caught their purport? Or are all these lost, like Shraddha as performed by a person of regenerate classes having a Sudra wife? Thus addressed, Srinjaya then replied with joined hands, O thou that hast the wealth of asceticism, having listened to these excellent and praiseworthy histories of ancient royal sages, all of whom had performed great sacrifices with profuse presents unto the Brahmanas, my grief has been dispelled by wonder, like the darkness that is dispelled by the rays of the sun. I have now been cleansed of my sins, and I do not feel any pain now. Tell me, what shall I do now? Narada said, By good luck it is that thy grief hath been dispelled. Solicit thou the boon that thou desirest. Thou wilt obtain all thou mayest ask. We never say what is not true. Srinjaya said, I am happy with even this, that thou, O Holy One, art gratified with me. He with whom thou, O Holy One, art gratified, hath nothing unobtainable here. Narada said, I will once more give thee thy son, who was fruitlessly slain by the robbers, like an animal slaughtered in sacrifice, taking him out of terrible hell. Vyasa said, Then the son of Srinjaya of wonderful splendor appeared, that child resembling the son of Kuvera himself, bestowed by the gratified Rishi on the bereaved father. And King Srinjaya, once more meeting with his son, became highly delighted, and he performed many meritorious sacrifices, giving away profuse sacrificial presents upon completion. Excuse me. Srinjaya's son had not fulfilled the purposes of his being. He had performed no sacrifice and had no children. Destitute of bravery, he had perished miserably and not in battle. It was for this reason that he could be brought back to life. As regards Abhimanyu, he was brave and heroic. He had fulfilled the purposes of life. For the brave son of Subhadra, having blasted his foes by thousands, have left the world, falling in the field of battle. Those inaccessible regions that are attainable by brahmacharya, by knowledge, by acquaintance with the scriptures, by foremost of sacrifices, even these have been obtained by thy son. Men of knowledge always desire heaven by their righteous deeds. They that are living in heaven never prefer this world to heaven. Therefore, it's not easy for any desirable thing that might have been unattained by him to bring back into the world Arjuna's slain son in battle and now residing in heaven. Thy son has attained to that eternal goal which is attained by yogins with eyes shut in contemplation, or by performers of great sacrifices, or people possessed of great ascetic merit. After death, attaining a new body, that hero is shining like a king in his own immortal rays. Indeed, Abhimanyu has once more got his own body of lunar essence that is desirable by all regenerate persons. He deserveth not thy grief. Knowing this, be quiet and slay thy foes. Let fortitude be thine, O sinless one. It is the living that stand in need of our grief, and not they that have attained to heaven. His sins increase, O king, for whom the living grieve. Therefore, he that is wise, abandoning grief, should strive for the benefit of the dead. The living man should think of the joy, the glory, and the happiness of the dead. Knowing this, the wise never indulge in grief, for grief is painful. Know this to be true. Rise up, strive to achieve thy purpose. Do not grieve. Thou hast heard of the origin of death and her unexampled penances, as also the impartiality of her behavior towards all creatures. Thou hast heard that prosperity is unstable. Thou hast heard how the dead son of Srinjaya was revived. O learned king, do not grieve. Peace be to thee. I go. Having said this, the holy Vyasa disappeared then and there. Upon the departure of that master of speech, that foremost of intelligent persons, the holy Vyas, whose colour was like that of the clouded sky, Yudhisthira, having derived consolation in consequence of what he had heard about the sacrificial merit and prosperity of those great monarchs of olden times, possessed of energy equal to that of the great Indra himself, and all of whom had acquired wealth by righteous means, mentally applauded those illustrious persons and became freed from grief. Once more, however, with a melancholy heart, he asked himself, saying, "What shall we say unto Dhananjaya?" 72.
I just noticed actually we're back in sync now with the other book.
Yes, this is where you actually read this section in the Debroy.
Right. Okay. Right. So what should we do? That was it was long, wasn't it? So we read that one.
Yes.
No point in reading it again. So
no.
Well, do you want to have a rest there?
Okay. Yes. Please.
Okay. Well, I'll read for a bit, and then Karnai can take over. Okay. Shortly. Has Madhava, Guna got the book? Mathura. Oh, okay.
They're basically here. They're not traveling with their books.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll carry on back on Vivek Debroy's edition. This is chapter 1028 of the Mahabharata, chapter 51 of Abhimanyu Vadhapar. Yudhisthira said, O mighty armed one, when you left to fight with the army of the Shamshaptakas, the preceptor made efforts to capture me. But in every way, we succeeded in countering Drona's battle formation. In the battle, we made efforts to arrange our army on chariots in a counter formation. He was checked by the rutters, and I was protected. Wishing to kill us swiftly, he oppressed us with sharp arrows. Thus afflicted by Drona, we were incapable of glancing at Drona's array and could not even think of penetrating it. All of us then spoke to Subhadra's son, who was your equal in valor. O son, O Lord, penetrate the array. Thus urged by us, the valiant one was like a well-trained horse. He took that burden on himself, ignoring how difficult it was to bear. He was valiant, and he was instructed by you in the use of weapons. Though a child, the powerful one penetrated like Suparna entering the ocean. In that battle, we followed Satyavati's brave son. We wished to penetrate the army through the path that he had followed. O son, but because of a boon that he had obtained from Rudra, the vile Saindava, King Jayadratha, repulsed all of us. Then Drona, Kripa, Karna, Drona's son, Brihadbala, and Kritavarma, these 6 rutters surrounded Subhadra's son. All those warrior Maharathas surrounded the child, though he strove to his utmost. They were many, and he was deprived of his chariot. When he had been deprived of his chariot, Dushashana's son struck swiftly, though he had himself confronted great danger earlier. It was destiny that he met his end. He slaughtered many thousands, and the enemy earlier, elephants, horses, chariots, riders, 100 of the foremost among the princes of many other unnamed and brave ones. He dispatched King Brihadbala to the world of heaven. Thus, though through destiny, the supreme among those with Dharma in their souls attained his end, Everything that extends our grief took place in this way. Thus it was that the tiger among men attained to the world of heaven. Sanjaya said, Arjuna heard the words that Dharmaraja had spoken. Lamenting, alas, son, he sighed in grief and fell down on the ground in his sorrow. With distressed faces, everyone surrounded Dhananjaya. They were overcome with misery and glanced at each other without blinking their eyes. When he had recovered consciousness, Vasava's son became unconscious with rage. He seemed to tremble as if in a fever and sighed repeatedly. He squeezed one hand with another and sighed, eyes bathed in tears. His glances were like one who was mad. He spoke these words. Know this to be the truth. I will kill Jayadratha tomorrow. I will slay him, unless out of fear he abandons the sons of Dhritarashtra, or seeks refuge with us, or seeks sanctuary with Purushottama Krishna, or with you. O great king, I will kill Jayadratha tomorrow. Engaged in doing what is pleasant to the sons of Dhritarashtra, he has forgotten his friendship with me. The evil one has been the reason behind the death of the child. I will kill Jayadratha tomorrow, wishing to protect him. Whoever fights with me, even if it is the brave Drona or Kripa, will be covered by me with arrows. O bulls among men, O brave and revered ones, if I do not achieve this in the battle, let me not attain the worlds meant for those with meritorious deeds. There are worlds meant for those who kill their mothers and those who kill their fathers, for those who have intercourse with the wives of their teachers, and for those who are wicked, for those who hate virtuous ones and speak ill of others, for those who misappropriate wealth left in their custody, and for those who violate trust, and for those who speak ill of women they have enjoyed earlier. There are worlds for those who kill brahmanas and those who kill cattle. There are worlds for those who eat payasam, food made of barley, herbs, dishes made of sesame, cakes and meat without offering them to the gods first. If I do not kill Jayadratha, let those worlds be mine. There are worlds for those who disrespect the best of Brahmanas, who are devoted to studying the Vedas. Others who deserve honor. The aged, the virtuous, the seniors. There are worlds attained by those who touch Brahmanas, cattle, and fire with their feet, and those who release phlegm, excreta, and urine in water. If I do not kill Jayadratha, let those terrible ends be mine. There are ends obtained by those who bathe naked and those who do not serve guests. There are ends obtained by those who take bribes, those who are liars and those who are deceitful, those who harm their own souls and those who speak false praises. There are ends obtained by wretches who eat sweetmeats in the sight of servants, sons, wives, and dependents, without offering them a share. If I do not kill Jayadratha, let those terrible ends be mine. There are ends obtained by those who abandon virtuous and obedient dependents, and those evil-souled ones who censure those who have done them good deeds. There are ends for those who do not give deserving neighbors shares in Shraddha offerings, for those who give to the undeserving, for those who have alliances with women of low caste, for those who are drunkards, for those who disrespect those who deserve honor, those who are ungrateful, and those who speak ill of their brothers. If I do not kill Jayadratha, let those ends swiftly be mine. I have recounted the ends of those who do not follow Dharma, and there are others that I have not enumerated. If tomorrow's night passes without my having killed Jayadratha, let those ends swiftly become mine. Listen to another pledge that I am taking. If tomorrow's sun sets without my having killed the wretched one, I will enter the blazing fire at this spot. O Asuras, O gods, O men, O birds, O serpents, O ancestors, O those who wander in the night, O Brahmanas, O mobile and immobile objects, and O everyone else, you will be incapable of protecting my enemy. Even if he descends to the fierce nether regions, even if he goes to the city of the gods or the city of the Daityas, I will strike him with 100 arrows in the morning. I will slice off the head of my son's foe. Having spoken thus, he stretched Gandiva with his left hand and his right. The sound of his touching the bow transcended his own words. When Arjuna took the pledge, Janardana blew on Panchajanya. Enraged, Dhananjaya blew on Devadatta. Filled completely with the wind from Achyuta's mouth, Panchajanya made a loud sound. The sound released from it made the lords of the universe, the nether regions, and the directions tremble like that at the destruction of a yuga. When the great-souled one had taken the oath, the sons of Pandu roared like lions. Musical instruments were sounded in every direction. I'll go on for a bit more, but now this is called section 68, Pratigya Parva. This Parva has 365 shlokas and 9 chapters. The word pratigya means vow or promise, and this section is named after Arjuna's vow to kill Jayadratha. There is no fighting in this section. The events transpiring between the night of the 13th day and the morning of the 14th, Arjuna obtains the Pashupati weapon from Shiva. Mahabharata, chapter 1029, 52 of the Pratigya Parva. Sanjaya said, the spies heard the loud noise the Pandus created on account of their son and reported it. Jayadratha arose. His heart was senseless with grief and he was oppressed by great misery. It seemed as if he was immersed in a giant and fathomless ocean of sorrow. Having thought a lot, Saindeva went to the assembly of the kings and lamented in front of all those kings. He was frightened of Abhimanyu's father and was ashamed. He spoke these words. He was born in Pandu's field when Shakra was full of desire. That evil-minded one wishes to send me to Yama's eternal abode. May all of you be fortunate. In an attempt to remain alive, I will now go back to my own house. O bulls among Kshatriyas, alternatively, resort to your strength and save me. Partha wishes to send me to the end meant for heroes. Grant me safety from that. Drona, Duryodhana, Kripa, Karna, the Lord of Madra, Mallika, Dushashana, and the others are capable of saving a person who is afflicted by Yama, not to speak of Falguna alone, desiring to injure my limbs. Why should all you assembled lords of the earth not be able to save me? Having heard the delighted sounds of the Pandavayas, my fear is great. O lords of the earth, my limbs are overcome by lassitude. like one who is about to die. There is no doubt that the wielder of Gandiva has sworn my death. That is the reason the Pandavas are roaring in delight, though it is time for them to sorrow. Even the gods, the Gandharvas, the Asuras, the serpents, and the Rakshasas are incapable of countering him, not to speak of lords of men. O fortunate ones, O bulls among men, therefore give me permission to depart. I wish to disappear so that Pandavas cannot see me. Thus did he lament, his senses overcome by fear and anxiety. King Duryodhana regarded his own task as superior to everything else and spoke these words: O tiger among men, do not be frightened. O bull among men, when you are stationed in the midst of all these brave Kshatriyas, who is going to seek an engagement with you in battle? Other than me, there are Vaikartana Karna, Chitrasena, Vivimsati, Bhurishrava, Shala, Shalya, the unassailable Vrishashena, Purumitra, Jaya, Bhaja, Sudakshina from Cambodia, Satyavrata, the mighty armed Vikarna, Durmukha, Dushashana, Subahu, the lord of Kalinga with upraised weapons, Vinda and Anuvinda from Avanti, Drona, Drona's son, and Sobala. O immensely radiant one, you are yourself brave and the foremost among Rathas. O Saindava, how can you see any fear emanating from the Pandavas? 11 of my Oxohinis will be engaged in protecting you and will make endeavors to fight. O Saindava, therefore, do not be scared and banish this fear. O king, having been thus assured by your son, Saindava, accompanied by Duryodhana, went to Drona that very night. O lord of the earth, he touched Drona's feet, showed obeisance, and sat down. He then asked him the following: O illustrious one, in taking aim, striking from a distance, dexterity and firmness in striking, tell me the difference between me and Falguna. O preceptor, I wish to know the exact difference in learning between me and Arjuna. O Lord, tell me truly and accurately. Drona replied, O son, you and Arjuna are equal in what you have learned from your teachers. But because of yoga and because of the miseries he has faced, Arjuna is superior to you. In the battle, you should never be terrified on Partha's account. O son, you will be protected by me from fear. There is no doubt about that. Even the immortals have no influence over someone who is protected by my arms. I will create a vyuha that Partha will not be able to cross, and Partha will not be able to cross that vyuha. Therefore, follow your own dharma, fight without any fear. O Lord of men, follow the path traversed by your fathers and your grandfathers. You have studied the Vedas, as is prescribed. You have offered excellent oblations into the fire. You have observed many rites and sacrifices. You should not be frightened because of death. It is an extremely rare end and cannot be attained by wicked men. It is obtained by those who are immensely fortunate. Through the valor of one's arms, one can win the celestial and supreme worlds. The Kurus, the Pandavas, the Vrishnavas, other men, my son and I, are all transient. Think of that. In due order, in due course, all of us will be slain by powerful time. We will all go to the other world, carrying our respective deeds with us. Ascetics obtain worlds after tormenting themselves with austerities. Brave Kshatriyas who follow the Dharma of Kshatriyas also attain those. Sanjaya said, "You ready, Karnak? O king, having been thus assured by Bharadwaja's son, Saindava dismissed all fears of Partha from his heart and set his mind on the battle."
Very nicely read. Thank you.
Wah, wah, wah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 1030, Part 53. Sanjaya said, when Partha vowed to kill the king of Sindhu, the mighty armed Vasudev spoke to Dhananjaya. You consulted your brothers and took the words of the pledge. I will slay Saindhava. You performed an extremely rash act. Without consulting me, you have taken up an extremely heavy burden. How can we now avoid the ridicule of all the worlds? Spies have been sent by me to the camp of the sons of Dhritarashtra. They returned swiftly and conveyed this information to me. After you took a pledge to kill the king of Sindhu, the sons of Dhritarashtra and Saindava were frightened at the sounds they heard. They heard roars like lions, mingled with the great sound of musical instruments. They thought that these roars like lions must have a reason, and waited. O mighty armed one, a great sound arose among the Kauravas, among their elephants, horses, and infantry, and there was the roar of chariot wheels. Having heard of Abhimanyu's death, it is certain that Dhananjaya will be enraged and will emerge in the night. This was their view, and they waited. O one who is devoted to the truth, O one with eyes like lotuses, while they prepared, they heard the truth about the pledge you had taken for the death of the king of Sindhu. All of them, Suddhodana's advisors and King Jayadratha, were distressed and frightened, like small deer. The lord of Sindhu and Sovira was extremely frightened. He arose and with his advisors entered his own camp. At the appropriate time for consultation, they consulted each other about the best course of action. He then went to the assembly of the kings and spoke these words to Suddhodana. Dhananjaya thinks that I am the one who has caused the death of his son. Therefore, in the midst of the soldiers, he has promised to kill me tomorrow. When Savyasachi takes a vow, the gods, the Gandharvas, the Asuras, the serpents, and the Rakshasas are incapable of countering it. Therefore, all of you should protect me in the battle and not allow Dhananjaya to place his foot on your heads and thereby accomplish his objective. O descendant of the Kuru lineage, therefore, make arrangements to protect me in the battle. O king, otherwise, grant me permission so that I can return home. Having been thus addressed, Suddhodana was miserable and hung down his head. On hearing this, and learning about the great fear, he silently began to think. On seeing that the king was distressed, Saindava gently spoke these words with an eye on his own self-interest. On seeing that the king was distressed, Saindava gently spoke these words with an eye on his own self-interest and on what would be good for him. So Saindava spoke these words. I do not see a brave archer here who is capable of countering Arjuna's weapons with his own weapons in the great battle. He wields the bow Gandiv, and Vasudeva is his aide. Who can stand in front of Arjuna, even if it were to be Shatrakratu himself? It has been heard that Partha, on foot, fought with the immensely energetic Lord Maheshvara earlier in the Himalaya mountains. Urged by the king of the gods, on a single chariot he killed 1,000 Danavas who resided in Hiranyapur. Kaunteya is now united with the intelligent Vasudeva. It is my view that he is capable of destroying the 3 worlds, together with the immortals. I desire that you should give me permission to leave. Alternatively, if you so wish, the great-souled Drona and his brave son should protect me. O Arjuna, thus addressed by the one who was terribly afflicted, the king himself spoke to the preceptor. All the arrangements have been made and the chariots have been arrayed. Karna, Urishrav, Drona's son, the invincible Vrihasena, Kripa, and the king of Madra, these 6 will be at the forefront. Drona will construct a vyuha at the rear. Half of this will be in the form of a cart and half in the form of a lotus. There will be an array in the form of a needle in the midst of the pericarp of the lotus. Jayadratha, the king of Sindhu, who is unassailable in battle, will be stationed there, protected by brave ones. Oh, Bharata. So this is still Krishna speaking to Arjuna, I believe, right? There is no doubt. There is no doubt that those 6 ratas are impossible to withstand in the use of the bow, in weapons, in valor, in strength, and in lineage. Without vanquishing them and their followers, one cannot reach Jayadratha. Think of the valor of each of those 6, not to speak of them united together. O tiger among men, they cannot be defeated easily. We should think again about the best course of action for our welfare. We should consult with our advisors and well-wishers, and then determine a successful course of action. Arjuna replied, You think that those 6 ratas on the side of the sons of Dhritarashtra are superior to me in strength. But it is seen that their valor is equal to half of my own. O Madhusudana, I will sever all their weapons with my weapons, desiring to kill Jayadratha. You will see me shatter them. In the sight of Drona and his lamenting followers, I will bring down the head of the king of Sindhu on the ground. O Madhusudana, this will be the case even if the Satyas, the Rudras, Vasus, the Ashvins, the Maruts, with Indra, the Vishvadevas, the Ashuras, and ancestors, the Gandharvas, the Suparnas, the oceans, the mountains, the firmaments, heaven, earth, the directions, the lords of the directions, the villages, the forests, and all mobile and immobile beings seek to protect the king of Sindhu. Even then, in the battle tomorrow, you will see him slain by my arrows. O Krishna, I swear this truthfully, as I touch my weapons. Drona, the great archer, is the protector of that wicked and evil-minded one. O Keshava, I will engage him first. Suddhana thinks that this gambling match is based on him. Therefore, I will shatter him at the forefront of the army and then assail Saindava. Tomorrow, you will see that great archer pierced by my fierce, energetic, and iron arrows in battle, like the summit of a mountain shattered by a thunderbolt. Blood will flow from the bodies of men, elephants, and horses. They will be brought down by sharp arrows that descend on them. The arrows released from Gandiva will be as swift as thought or the wind. They will rob the breath of life from the bodies of thousands of men, elephants, and horses. In the battle, men will behold terrible weapons descend, those that have been obtained by me from Yama, Kubera, Varuna, Rudra, and Indra. All those who wish to protect Saindava will see their weapons routed in the battle by my Brahmana Astra. O Keshava, in the battle tomorrow, you will see the earth strewn with the heads of kings, severed by forceful arrows that I release. I will gratify carnivorous beasts and drive away the enemy. I will delight my well-wishers and bring down Saindava. He has performed great misdeeds. He has been a bad ally. He has been born in an evil land. Having been killed by me, King Saindava will cause sorrow among those on his own side. Saindava has enjoyed the best of milk mixed with rice, but he has been evil in conduct. In the forefront of the battle, you will see him destroyed with my radiant arrows, O Krishna. In the morning, I will accomplish that which will make Suddhana think that there is no archer in this world who is equal to me in battle. O bull among men, Gandiva is a divine bow, and I am the warrior. O Rishikesh, You are the charioteer, who is incapable of being vanquished by me. Lakshmi is always present in the moon, and water is always present in the ocean. O Janardana, like that, know that my pledge is always true. Do not disrespect my weapons. Do not disrespect my firm bow. Do not disrespect my strength. Do not disrespect Dhananjaya's strength of arms. I will go to battle so that I am victorious and am not defeated. Know that, because of my pledge, Jayadratha has already been slain in battle. It is certain that the Brahman is truth. It is certain that there is humility in the virtuous. It is certain that there is prosperity in the wise. It is certain that there is victory in Narayan. Sanjay said. Having spoken these words to Shrishikesh, and having addressed them to his own self too, Vasava's son once again addressed the Lord Keshava in a sonorous tone. When night is over and it is morning, please arrange for my chariot to be prepared. O Krishna, that is your task. The task that has to be undertaken is a grave one. That's the end of that chapter. Chapter 1032 and 31.
Nicely read. It's beautiful. Well done.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Sanjaya said, so chapter 1031, part 54. Sanjaya said, both Vasudev and Dhananjaya spent the night immersed in grief and sighed like serpents. They could not sleep, even for an instant. Knowing that Nara and Narayan were enraged, the gods, together with Vasava, footnote, Nara and Narayan are ancient sages. Nara is identified with Arjuna and Narayana with Krishna. In the footnote, were enraged. The gods, together with Vasava, were distressed. They began to reflect about what would transpire. Extremely terrible and harsh winds began to blow, portending of fearful calamities. A headless torso and a club could be seen on the disk of the sun, though there were no clouds in the sky. There were thunderstorms tinged with lightning. The earth, with all its mountains and forests, began to tremble. O great king, the ocean, the habitation of Makaras, was turbulent. Rivers flowed in an opposite direction rather than towards the ocean. The lower and upper lips of ratas, horses, men, and elephants trembled. Predatory beasts seemed to be delighted, since Yama's kingdom would be extended. Mounts wept and released excrement and urine. And all these omens were terrible and made the body hair stand up. O bull among the Bharata lineage, on beholding these, all the soldiers on your side were distressed. They heard about the fierce vow that the extremely strong Savyasachi had taken. The mighty armed son of the chastiser of Paka spoke to Krishna. Comfort your sister Subhadra together with her daughter-in-law. Footnote, that is Abhimanyu's wife Uttara. And the footnote. O Madhava, dispel the sorrow from the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law. O Lord, comfort them with truthful words and assure them with what you say. Thus addressed, with a distressed mind, Vasudeva went to Arjuna's house. He comforted his distressed sister, who was overcome with grief on account of her son. O son born in the Varshnaya lineage, do not grieve. Together with your daughter-in-law for the sake of your son, O timid one, all beings have an end that is determined by destiny. This is especially true of Kshatriyas who are born in brave lineages. Your son has attained a death like that. Do not sorrow. This was good fortune for the brave Mahabharata, who was like his father in valor. He has attained the objective decreed for Kshatriyas, one that brave ones desire. He has conquered many enemies and sent them to their death. He has gone to the eternal worlds that satisfy all desire, those obtained by those with meritorious deeds. These are obtained by those with austerities, brahmacharya, learning, and wisdom. The virtuous go there, and your son has obtained them. You are the mother of a hero. You are the wife of a hero. Your father-in-law is a hero, and so are your kin. O fortunate one, do not grieve over a son who has attained the supreme objective. The inferior Saindava, the slayer of a child, together with his well-wishers, followers, and relatives, will reap the fruits of his insolent deeds. One, O one with the beautiful hips, as soon as night has passed, he will suffer for his wicked acts. Even if he goes to Amaravati, footnote, that's Indra's capital, end of footnote, he will not be able to escape from Partha. Tomorrow you will hear that Saindava's head has been severed in the battle in the vicinity of Samantapanchaka. Footnote, Samantapanchaka is another name for Kurukshetra, usually explained because of the 5 pancha lakes created by Parashuram. Alternatively, it is said that the land was 5 yojanas in every direction. End of footnote. So, dispel your sorrow and do not weep. Having placed the dharma of Kshatriyas at the forefront, the brave one has attained the virtuous end. We, all the others whose livelihood is based on arms, will also attain that. He was broad in his chest. He possessed mighty arms. He did not retreat from battle. He killed the best. O one with the beautiful hips, your son has gone to heaven. Overcome your fever. The valiant one obeyed his fathers and those on his mother's side. Having killed 1,000 enemies, the brave Mahabharata has been slain. O queen, O Kshatriya lady, comfort your daughter-in-law and do not sorrow grievously, O one who brings delight. You will hear extremely pleasant news tomorrow. Be free from sorrow. Partha accomplishes whatever he pledges. It cannot be otherwise. Whatever your husband wishes is never unsuccessful. Even if men, serpents, pisachas, wanderers of the night, birds, gods, and asuras come to the aid of the king of Sindhu in the battle in the morning, he will no longer exist. I'll do one more chapter and then I'll take a rest. So it looks like it might be about. It's not very long.
Please,
chapter 1.
You're doing well. It's great.
Thanks, Jai. Chapter 1032, part 55. Sanjaya said, on hearing these words of the great-souled Keshava, Subhadra was extremely miserable and lamented because of grief over her son. Alas, my son, I am unfortunate. You were equal to your father in valor, O son. Having gone forth to fight, how could you have been slain? Your face was as dark as a blue lotus. It possessed beautiful teeth and beautiful eyes, O son. It is now seen to be covered with the dust raised by battle. You were brave and did not retreat from battle. You possessed an excellent head, neck, and arms. Your chest was broad, your stomach was flat, all your limbs were decorated with ornaments. You possessed excellent eyes, you are now mangled with wounds from weapons. On seeing you fall, there is no doubt that all the beings are glancing at you as if at a rising moon. Earlier, your bed used to be covered with white and expensive sheets. You were used to happiness, pierced by arrows. How can you sleep on the bare ground now? The brave and mighty armed one used to be served by supreme women earlier. How can he now have been brought down on the field of battle, served by jackals? Earlier, you used to be delighted by bards, raconteurs, and minstrels. You are now served by masses of carnivorous and fierce creatures that are howling. Oh Lord, you had the Pandavas and the brave Vrishnis as your protectors. There were also the brave Panchalas. How could you have been slain like one without a protector? O son, O unblemished one, I have not been satisfied from looking at you. I am wretched. It is evident that I will have to go to Yama's eternal abode now. You possessed large eyes. The tips of your hair were excellent. Your words were pleasant and fragrant. Your face was without any blemishes. Oh, son, when will I see it again? Shame on Bhimasena. Shame on Partha, supreme among archers. Shame on the valor of the brave Vrishnis. Shame on the strength of the Panchalas. Shame on the Kekayas, the Cheris, the Matsyas, and the Srinjayas. When you went to fight, they did not know how to prevent the fall of the brave one. Today I see the earth to be empty, bereft of its beauty. Without being able to see Abhimanyu, my eyes are full of sorrow. You were the son of Vasudev's sister and that of the wielder of Gandiva. Oh, brave one, how can I see you, bereft of your chariot and brought down by others? Alas, oh, alas, brave one, you are like riches seen in a dream, which have been destroyed now. Man is transient, as temporary as a bubble in water. This is your young wife. She is overcome with grief on your account. How will I comfort her? I am myself like a cow that has lost her calf. Oh, son, you have left me at a wrong time, when you were about to accomplish great things. You have departed without reaping the fruits. I am yearning to see you. There is no doubt that the ways of destiny are extremely difficult to fathom, even by those who are wise. You had Keshava as your protector, but in the battle you're like one without a protector. There are those who perform sacrifices, donate, and are of good conduct. There are brahmanas who control their souls. There are those who follow brahmacharya and bathe in sacred places of pilgrimage. There are those who are grateful and generous. There are those who serve their preceptors. There are those who give 1,000 dakshinas. All these attain their ends. These ends are obtained by brave ones who fight without retreating. These ends are obtained by brave ones who are slain on the field of battle. May you attain those ends. There are ends obtained by those who donate 1,000 cows or perform sacrifices with donations. There are ends for those who give away acceptable houses as gifts. May those ends be yours. Sages, rigid in their vows, attain ends through brahmacharya. There are ends for women with a single husband. O son, go to those ends. Kings with good conduct attain eternal ends, and those who purify and protect themselves and follow the 4 sacred ashramas in due order. There are those who are always compassionate towards the miserable and divide everything equally. They refrain from wicked tendencies. O son, may you attain those ends. There are those who follow good conduct and observe dharma. There are those who serve their seniors and do not leave their guests dissatisfied. O son, may you go to those ends. Intelligent ones have intercourse with their own wives at the right season. They do not serve the wives of others. O son, may you go to those ends. There are those who look on all beings peacefully. They are devoid of malice and attain ends. There are those who do not cause injury and forgive. They attain ends. There are those who abstain from liquor, meat, vanity, and falsehood, and those who do not cause pain to others. O son, may you attain those ends. There are those who are modest and learned in all the sacred texts. They are satisfied and have controlled their senses. There are ends obtained by those who are righteous, O son. May you attain those ends. Distressed and overcome by sorrow, Subhadra lamented in this way. At this time, Panchali and Virata's daughter arrived there. They wept a lot and lamented in great misery. O king, they were mad with grief and fell down on the ground, bereft of their senses. Krishna was himself extremely miserable, but he sprinkled water on them and spoke these beneficial words when they had regained their senses, but was still lamenting and weeping. Pundari Kaksha, spoke these words to his sister, footnote, Pundarikaksha, says in the footnote Arjuna, spoke these words to his sister. Is that correct?
What do you mean?
Isn't Pundarikaksha Krishna?
What page is that? I lost the count.
Oh, what does Pundarikaksha mean? Doesn't it mean? I thought it meant Krishna.
Lotus eye.
Ah, lotus eye. So I thought it was revoting. Okay.
Yeah, but it might have been addressing Arjuna as lotus eye.
Okay, so that's what the question is.
Is Subhadra Krishna's sister?
Yes.
All right. So it must be Krishna then, because it says Pundarikaksha spoke these words to his sister,
Yeah.
Subhadra.
Yeah, of course, then it's Krishna.
But, right, in the footnote it says Arjuna.
Does it?
Yeah.
But it's wrong.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Okay,
well
good.
Okay, Krishna speaks. Damn the footnotes.
Maybe he considered her a sister.
O Subhadra, do not sorrow. O Panchali, comfort Uttara. Abhimanyu, bull among the Kshatriyas, has attained an objective that is extremely desired. O ones with beautiful faces, let other virtuous ones from our lineage also attain that.
It does say lotus-eyed Krishna in the footnote. Because there's 3 footnotes there. You went to the last one.
Yeah, but
it says 20.
It says 25, right? Look, 25 to 25.
Oh. Anyway,
we're right at the end of the chapter. I'm going to stop after this now. So he's just doing.
Mark can carry on a bit if he wants. Where is it? Get ready, Mark.
Oh, ones with beautiful faces, let other virtuous ones from our lineage also attain that. That's the heaven that Abhimanyu's attained. All of us will go to the end that the illustrious Abhimanyu has achieved. All of us, with all our well-wishers, wish to accomplish the kind of deed that he has achieved. Your son, the Mahabharata, has accomplished this alone. Having comforted his sister, Draupadi and Uttara in this way, the mighty armed, having comforted his sister, Draupadi and Uttara in this way, the mighty armed scorcher of enemies returned to Partha's side. O King, Krishna and the Lord, excuse me, and Krishna and the Lord took the permission of the kings and the relatives and retired to their inner quarters. The others also went to their own abodes.
So there, Krishna meant Arjuna.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Mark, you know where we are?
Yes. Yes. In Ganguli's, it's 79, section 79. Okay. Hare Krishna. Sanjaya said, then Lord Keshava, of eyes like lotus petals, again, having entered the unrivaled mansion of Arjuna, touched water and spread for Arjuna on the auspicious and even floor an excellent bed of kusha blades that were of the hue of lapis lazuli, and keeping excellent weapons around that bed, he adorned it duly with garlands of flowers and fried paddy, perfumes and other auspicious articles. And after Partha also had touched water, meek and submissive attendants brought the usual nightly sacrifice unto the 3-eyed Mahadeva. Then Partha, with a cheerful soul, having smeared Madhava with perfumes and adorned with floral garlands, presented unto Mahadeva the nightly offering. Then Govinda, with a faint smile, addressed Partha, saying, blessed be thou, O Partha, lay thyself down, I leave thee. Placing doorkeepers then, and also sentinels well armed, blessed Keshava, followed by his charioteer Daruka, repaired to his own tent. He then laid himself down on his white bed and thought of diverse measures to be adopted. And the illustrious one, Keshava, of eyes like lotus petals, began, for Partha's sake, to think of various means that would dispel Partha's grief and anxiety and enhance his prowess and splendor. Of soul wrapped in yoga, that supreme lord of all, Vishnu of widespread fame, who always did what was agreeable to Jishnu, desirous of benefiting Arjuna, lapsed into yoga and meditation. There was none in the Pandava camp who slept that night. Wakefulness possessed everyone, O monarch, and everyone in the Pandava camp thought of this, the high-souled wielder of Gandiva, burning with grief for the death of his son, hath suddenly vowed with the slaughter of the Sindhus. How indeed will that slayer of hostile heroes, that son of Vasava, that mighty armed warrior, accomplish his vow? The high-souled son of Pandu hath indeed made a most difficult resolve. King Jayadrat is endued with mighty energy. Oh, let Arjuna succeed in fulfilling his vow. Difficult is that vow which he, afflicted with grief on account of his son, hath made. Duryodhana's brothers are all possessed of great prowess. His forces are countless. The son of Dhritarashtra hath assigned all these to Jayadrat as his protectors. Oh, let Dhananjaya come back to the camp, having slain the ruler of the Sindhus in battle. Vanquishing his foes, let Arjuna accomplish his vow. If he fails to slay the ruler of the Sindhus tomorrow, he will certainly enter into blazing fire. Dhananjaya, the son of Pritha, will not falsify his oath. If Arjuna dies, how will the son of Dharma succeed in recovering his kingdom? Indeed, Yudhishthir, the son of Pandu, has reposed all his hopes of victory on Arjuna. If we have achieved any religious merit, if we have ever poured libations of clarified butter into fire, let Savya Sachin, aided by the fruits thereof, vanquish his foes. Thus talking, O Lord, with one another about the victory of the morrow, that long night, O king of theirs, at last passed away. In the middle of the night, Janardana, having awaked, remembered Partha's vow, and addressing his charioteer Daruka, said, Arjuna, in grief for the death of his son, has vowed, O Daruka, that before tomorrow's sun goes down, he will slay Jayadrat. Hearing of this, Duryodhana will assuredly take counsel with his counselors about how Partha may fail to achieve his object. His several Akshahinis of troops will protect Jayadratha, fully conversant with the ways of applying all weapons. Drona also with his son will protect him, that matchless hero, the thousand-eyed Indra himself, that crusher of the pride of Daityas and Danavas, cannot venture to slay him in battle who is protected by Drona. I, therefore, will do that tomorrow, by which Arjuna, the son of Kunti, may slay Jayadrat before the sun sets. My wives, my kinsmen, my relatives, none amongst these is dearer to me than Arjuna. O Daruka, I shall not be able to cast my eyes even for a single moment on the earth bereft of Arjuna. I tell thee, the earth shall not be reft to Arjuna. Myself vanquishing them all with their steeds and elephants, by putting forth my strength for the sake of Arjuna, I will slay them with Karna and Suyodhana. Let the three worlds tomorrow behold my prowess in great battle, when I put forth my valor. O Daruka, for Dhananjaya's sake. Tomorrow, thousands of kings and hundreds of princes with their steeds and cards and elephants will, O Daruka, fly away from battle. Thou shalt tomorrow, O Daruka, behold that army of kings overthrown and crushed with my discus by myself in wrath for the sake of the son of Pandu. Tomorrow the three worlds with the gods, the Gandharvas, the Pisachas, the snakes and the Rakshasas will know me as a true friend of Savya Sachin. He that hateth him hateth me. He that followeth him followeth me. Thou hast intelligence. Know that Arjuna is half of myself. When morning comes after the expiry of this night, thou, O Daruka, equipping my excellent car according to the rules of military science, must bring it and follow me with it carefully, placing it on my celestial mace called Kaumodaki, my dart, and discus, bow and arrows, and every other thing necessary. O Suta, making room on the terrace of my car for my standard and for the heroic Garuda thereon, that adorns my umbrella, and yoking thereto my foremost of steeds, named Valahaka and Megapushpa and Shavya and Sugriva, having cased them in golden mail of the splendor of the sun and fire, and thyself putting on thy armor, stay on it carefully. Upon hearing the loud and terrible blast of my conch, Panchajanya, emitting the shrill Rishava note, thou wilt come quickly to me. In course of a single day, O Daruka, I shall dispel the wrath and the diverse woes of my cousin, the son of my paternal aunt. By every means I shall strive so that Vibhatsu in battle may slay Jayadratha in the very sight of the Dhritarashtra's. O charioteer, I tell thee that Vibhatsu will certainly succeed in slaying all these for whose slaughter he will strive. Daruka said, he is certain to have victory whose charioteership, O tiger among men, hath been taken by thee. Whence indeed can defeat come to him? As regards myself, I will do that which thou hast commanded me to do. This night will bring on its train the auspicious morn for Arjuna's victory. Section 80. Sanjaya said, Kunti's son, Dhananjaya, of inconceivable prowess, thinking of how to accomplish his vow, recollected the mantras given to him by Vyasa, and soon he was lulled into the arms of sleep. Unto that ape-bannered hero, burning with grief and immersed in thought, Keshava, having Garuda on his banner, appeared in a dream. Dhananjaya, of righteous soul, in consequence of his love and veneration for Keshava, never omitted under any circumstances to stand up and advance a few steps for receiving Krishna. Rising up, therefore, now in his dream, he gave unto Govinda a seat. He himself, however, at that time, did not set his heart upon taking his seat. Then Krishna, of mighty energy, knowing the resolution of Partha, said, while seated unto the son of Kunti, these words, while the latter was standing. Do not set thy heart, O Partha, on grief. Time is unconquerable. Time forceth all creatures into the inevitable course. O foremost of men, what for is this grief of thine? Grief should not be indulged in, foremost of learned persons. Grief is an impediment to action. Accomplish that act which should be accomplished. The grief that maketh a person forego all efforts is indeed, O Dhananjaya, an enemy of that person. A person by indulging in grief gladdens his foes and saddens his friends, while the person he is himself weakened. Therefore it behoveth thee not to grieve. Thus addressed by Vasudeva, the unvanquished Vibhatsu of great learning, then said these words of grave import. Grave is the vow that I have made about the slaughter of Jayadratha. Even tomorrow I shall slay that wicked wretch, that slayer of my son. Even this hath been my vow, O Keshava. For frustrating my vow, Jayadratha, protected by all the mighty Car warriors, will be kept in their rear by the Dhritarashtra's. Their force number consists, O Madhava, of remnant after slaughter of 11 Okshahinis of troops, difficult of being vanquished, surrounded in battle as he will be by all of them, and by all the great Car warriors. How shall he obtain a sight, O Krishna, of the wicked rule of the Sindhus? That's wicked ruler of the Sindhus. Typo. My vow will not be accomplished, O Keshava. How can a person like me live, having failed to accomplish his vow? O hero, the non-accomplishment is evident of this, my vow, which to me is a source of great grief. At this season of the year, I will tell thee that the sun setteth quickly. The bird-bannered Krishna, hearing this cause of Partha's grief, touched water and sat with face turned to the east. And then that hero of eyes like lotus leaves and possessed of great energy said these words for the benefit of Pandu's son, who had resolved upon the slaughter of the Sindhus. Excuse me. O Partha, there is an indestructible supreme weapon of the name Pashupata. With it the god Maheshwara slew in battle all the Daityas. If thou rememberest it now, thou shalt then be able to slay Jayadratha tomorrow. If it is unknown to thee now, adore within thy heart the god having the bull for his mark. Thinking of that god in thy mind, remember him, O Dhananjaya, thou art his devotee. Through his grace thou shalt obtain that rich possession. Hearing these words of Krishna, Dhananjaya, having touched water, sat on the earth with concentrated mind and thought of the god Bhava. After he had thus sat with rapt mind at that hour called Brahma of auspicious indications, Arjuna saw himself journeying through the sky with Keshava, and Partha, possessed of the speed of the mind, seemed to reach with Keshava the sacred foot of Himavat, and then the Manimat mountain, abounding in many brilliant gems, and frequented by Siddhas and Charanas, and the Lord Keshava seemed to have caught hold of his left arm, and he seemed to see many wonderful sights as he reached that place. And Arjuna of righteous soul then seemed to arrive at the White Mountain on the north, and then he beheld the pleasure gardens of Kubera, the beautiful lake decked with lotuses. And he also saw that foremost of rivers, the Ganga, full of water. And then he arrived at the regions about the Mandara mountains. Those regions were covered with trees that always bore blossoms and fruits. They abounded with stones lying scattered about that were all transparent crystal. And they were inhabited by lions and tigers, and abounded with animals of diverse kind. And they were adorned with many beautiful retreats of ascetics, echoing with the sweet notes of delightful warblers. And they resounded also with the song of Kinnaras. Graced with many golden and silver peaks, they were illumined with diverse herbs and plants, and many mandara trees with their pretty loads of flowers adorned them. And then Arjuna reached the mountains called Kala, that looked like a mound of antimony. And then he reached the summit called Brahmatunga, and then many rivers, and then many inhabited provinces. And then he arrived at Satasinga, and the woods known by the name of Sharyati. And then he beheld the sacred spot known as the Horse Head, and the region of Atharvana. And then he beheld that prince of mountains called Vrishadansa, the great Mandara abounding in Apsaras and graced with the presence of the Kinnaras. And roaming on that mountain, Partha with Krishna beheld a spot of earth adorned with excellent fountains, decked with golden mineral, and possessed of splendor of the lunar rays, and having many cities and towns. And he also beheld many seas of wonderful forms and diverse mines of wealth. And thus going through the sky and the firmament and the earth, he reached the spot called Vishnupada. And wandering with Krishna in his company, he came down with great velocity like a shaft shot from a bow. And soon Partha beheld a blazing mountain whose splendor equaled that of planets, the constellations, or fire. And arrived at that mountain, he beheld on its top the high-souled god having the bull for his mark, and ever engaged in ascetic penances, like 1,000 suns collected together and blazing with his own effulgence, trident in hand, matted locks on the head, of snow-white colour. He was robed in bark and skin, endued with great energy. His body seemed to be flaming with 1,000 eyes, and he was seated with Parvati and many creatures of brilliant forms around him. And his attendants were engaged in singing and playing upon musical instruments, in laughing and dancing, in moving and stretching their hands and uttering loud shouts. And the place was perfumed with fragrant odors, and rishis that worshipped Brahma adored with excellent hymns of unfading glory that god who was the protector of all creatures and wielded the great bow called Pinaka. Beholding him, Vasudeva of righteous soul, with Partha, touched the earth with his head, uttering the eternal words of the Veda. And Krishna, adored with speech, mind, and understanding and acts, that God who is the first source of the universe, himself uncreate, the supreme Lord of unfading glory, who is the highest cause of the mind, who is space and the wind, who is the cause of all the luminous bodies in the firmament, who is the creator of the rain and the supreme primordial substance of the earth, who is the object of adoration with the gods, the Danavas, the Yakshas, and human beings, who is the supreme Brahma that is seen by yogis and the refuge of those acquainted with Shastras, who is the creator of all mobile and immobile creatures and their destroyer also, who is the wrath that burns everything at the end of the Yuga, who is the supreme soul, who is the chakra and the Surya and the origin of all attributes. And Krishna sought the protection of that Bhava, whom men of knowledge, desirous of attaining to that which is called the subtle and the spiritual. Behold, that uncreate one is the soul of all causes. And Arjuna repeatedly adored that deity, knowing that he was the origin of all creatures and the cause of the past, the future, and the present. Beholding those two, viz. Nara and Narayan, arrived, Bhava of cheerful soul smilingly said unto them, welcome are ye, ye foremost of men. Rise up and let the fatigue of your journey be over. What, O heroes, is the desire in your heart? Let it be uttered quickly. What is the business that has brought you hither? I will accomplish it and do what would benefit you. I will grant everything you may desire. Hearing those words of the god, they both rose, and then with joined hands, the faultless Vasudeva and Arjuna, both of great wisdom, began to gratify that high-souled deity with an excellent hymn. And Krishna and Arjuna said, we bow to Bhava, to Sarva, to Rudra, to the boon-giving deity. We bow to the Lord of all creatures, endued with life, to the God who is always fierce, to him who is called Kapardin. We bow to Mahadeva, to Bhima, to the three-eyed, to him who is peace and contentment. We bow to Ishana, to him who is the destroyer of Daksha's sacrifice. Let salutations be to the slayer of Andaka, to the father of Kumara, to him who is of blue throat, to him who is the creator. Let salutation be to the wielder of Pinaka, to one worthy of the offer of libations of clarified butter, to him who is truth, to him who is all-pervading, to him who is unvanquished, to him who is always of blue locks, to him who is armed with the trident, to him is of celestial vision, to him who is Hotri, to him who protects all, to him who is of three eyes, to him who is disease, to him whose vital seed fell on the fire, to him who is inconceivable, to him who is the Lord of Ambika, to him who is adored by all the gods, to him who hath the bull for his mark, to him who is bold, to him who is of matted locks, to him who is a brahmacharin, to him who standeth as an ascetic in the water, to him who is devoted to Brahma, to him who hath never been conquered, to him who is the soul of the universe, to him who is the creator of the universe, to him who liveth pervading the whole universe. We bow to thee that art the object of the reverence of all, to thee that art the original cause of all creatures, to thee that are called Brahma Chakra, to thee that are called Sarva, Shankara, and Shiva. We bow to thee that art the Lord of all great beings. We bow to thee that has 1,000 heads, to thee that has 1,000 arms, to thee that art called Death, to thee that has 1,000 eyes, 1,000 legs, to thee whose acts are immeasurable. We bow to thee whose complexion is that of gold, to thee that art cased in golden mail, to thee that art ever compassionate to thy devotees. O Lord, let our wish be accomplished. Sanjaya continued, having adored Mahadeva in these terms, Vasudeva with Arjuna then began to gratify him for obtaining the great weapon called Pashupata. Shall I continue? Okay, shall I continue? I'll continue.
Where is it? I think we've got.
Sorry.
Where is it? Where are you up to?
81.
81. That's a short one.
In
No,
Ganguli.
I'm just looking. I think. See what we've got here. In this one, in Debroy's one, it hasn't any. There's no chapter division at this point.
Ah.
I don't think.
Okay.
Well, we only got 10 minutes. Let me have a quick go.
Okay.
We'll wrap it up. So it's in the middle of that chapter.
Right. Yes, it's Sanjaya said.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it's,
Oh, King, while Krishna and Darupa were conversing. No. No, right.
It's, yeah. After the bit, having adored Mahadeva in these terms, Vasudeva with Arjuna began to gratify him for obtaining the great weapon, Pashupat.
Okay, yeah. I can pick it up. Yeah, having worshipped Mahadeva and gratified him, Vasudeva and Arjuna obtained the weapon. Partha was delighted and worshipped the one with the bull on his banner, with dilated eyes.
We need the camera, Madan.
Sorry. With dilated eyes, he gazed at the one who was the receptacle of all energy. He always used to make offerings to Vasudeva every night, and he beheld these lying near Triyambaka. Pandava worshipped Krishna and Shankara in his mind and addressed Shankara, desiring the divine weapons. On learning Partha's intention and the purport of the boon, the Lord of Gods smiled and spoke to Vasudeva and Arjuna. O destroyers of enemies, near this spot there is a divine lake that is full of Amrita. There my divine bow and arrow have been secreted a long time ago. I used them to bring down all the enemies of the gods in battle. O Krishna, Krishnas, two Krishnas, bring the supreme bow with the arrow here. Having been thus addressed, those two brave ones went there with Sharava's attendants. They went to the celestial lake, as indicated by the one with the bull on his banner, and which was surrounded by hundreds of divine wonders. It was sacred, and was the granter of all objects. Without any fear, the rishis, Nara and Narayana, went there. They went to see the lake, which possessed the complexion of the solar disk. Arjuna and Achyuta saw a terrible serpent in the water. There was a second supreme serpent too, with 1,000 heads. They saw it vomit giant flames with radiance like that of the fire. Krishna and Partha touched water and joined their hands in salutation. They worshipped the one with the bull on his banner and approached those serpents. They were learned in the Vedas and chanted 100 hymns in praise of the Brahmin and Rudra. They bowed before the immeasurable Bhava, who is in every soul. Because of this praise of the greatness of Rudra, those giant serpents gave up their serpent forms and assumed the form of a bow and arrow, the slayer of enemies. Delighted, they grasped the resplendent bow and arrow. Those great souled ones took them and gave them to the great minded one, Shiva. A brahmachari emerged from the side of one with the bull on his banner. He was tawny-eyed, and he was the resort of austerities. He was powerful and bluish or red. He grasped the best of bows and stood on that spot. He stretched the bow and fixed the arrow to the supreme bow. Pandava noticed how the bow was grasped with the hand and the position. He heard the mantras spoken by Baba. The one with whose valor was unthinkable grasped everything. The immensely energetic Lord then released the arrow into the lake. The brave one again flung the bow into the lake. Arjuna, whose memory was good, knew that Baba was gratified. He remembered the boon he had given him in the forest and how he had beheld Shankara. In his mind, he wished that all this might come true. Knowing what he desired, Baba happily gave him the boon. He granted him the terrible Pashupatra and the fulfillment of his pledge. The body hair of the invincible one stood up, and he thought that his task had been accomplished. Arjuna and Keshava were delighted and praised Mahadeva with their heads bowed. The brave ones took their leave of Bhava and instantly returned to their own camp. They were filled with great joy. They were as delighted as Indra and Vishnu when they desired to kill Jamba. Let's see. There's probably time, Kana, if you want to read one. Are you there? You want to read it? Not
I am
particularly.
here. I am
Okay.
here.
So it's 10,
What page?
1079. Just read one chapter and then we'll finish.
What page?
79.
Ah. 79, chapter 1035, part 58.
It feels like it should be page 10,000. 1,000. It's amazing.
Okay. Sanjaya said, O king, while Krishna and Daruka were conversing in this way, the night ended. The king arose. Footnote, Yudhishthira. The king arose. Panishvanikas, Magadas, Madhuparikikas, Vaidilikas, and Sutas chanted and satisfied that bull among men. Footnote. These are all Panishvakanas are those who clap their hands together and make a noise. Magadas are balladeers. Madhupakshikas are those who make offerings of honey. Vaitilikas are bards or panegyrists. Sutas are raconteurs. So that's going on. Dancers danced. Singers with sweet voices sang praises in honor of the Kuru lineage. There were the loud sounds of mridangas, jajaras, Veris, Pandavas, Anakas, Gomukas, Adamvaras, Shankas, and Dubis. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, there were many other musical instruments. Skilled and well-trained ones happily played on them. That loud noise, like the roar of the clouds, seemed to touch the sky and awoke the sleeping Yudhishthira, supreme among kings. He had slept on an extremely expensive and supreme bed and now arose. Having awoken, he went to the bathroom to perform the required acts. There were 180 young servants dressed in 108 young servants dressed in white. They had themselves bathed and approached with golden pots that were full. Wearing light garments, he seated himself on his splendid seat. He was bathed in water in which sandalwood had been mixed and over which mantras had been recited. Well-trained ones rubbed his body with astringent and strong water. He was, footnote, because medicinal herbs had been mixed in the water, and a footnote. He was washed with fragrant and perfumed water. The mighty armed ones smeared his body with yellow sandalwood paste. He wore garlands and dressed himself in clean garments. He faced the east. and seated himself, hands joined in salutation. Following the path of the virtuous, Kaunteya meditated and chanted. He humbly entered the room where a blazing fire was kept. Footnote, the room in which the household fire was maintained. End of footnote. He offered sacred kindling and oblations over which mantras had been recited into the fire. He then emerged from his house. The king, tiger among men, entered a second room and saw bulls among brahmanas there. Those brahmanas were learned in the Vedas. They were self-controlled and devoted to the Vedas. They had bathed and performed ablutions after the rites. There was 1,000 who worshipped the sun and another 8,000 too. The mighty armed one made them recite pleasant benedictions over him. He offered them the best kind of honey mixed with clarified butter and auspicious fruit. Pandava gave each of those brahmanas a golden nishka, 72, the golden coin kind of medallion thing. 100 ornamented horses, expensive garments, desired dakshina, and cows that yielded milk whenever they were touched.
Things have got detailed in the
Can you hear it? You need to mute yourself.
What?
You're not muted.
Pandava gave each of those.
Sorry.
Cheers. Pandava gave each of those a golden niksha, 100 ornamented horses, expensive garments, desired dakshina, and cows that yielded milk whenever they were touched. Pandu's son also gave them calves with horns decorated in gold and hoofs decorated in silver. He then circumambulated them, the swastikas that increased fortune, the golden nandyavartas, the garlands, the pots full of gold, and the flaming fire. The footnote for Nandyavarta, like the swastika, the Nandyavarta is an auspicious diagram. End of footnote. There were also vessels full of parched rice, beautiful ruchakaras, pure and ornamented maidens, curds, clarified butter, honey, water, auspicious birds, and many other sacred objects. Having seen and touched them, Kaunteya went to the outer chamber. O mighty armed one, the servants were waiting there. They brought an excellent seat that was completely made out of gold and was decorated with pearls and lapis lazuli. It was covered with the supreme carpet, over which an excellent cover had been spread. This supreme and divine seat had been constructed by Vishvakarma himself. When the great-minded Kaunteya had seated himself, the servants brought him all his expensive and bright ornaments. O great king, his beauty was such that it increased the sorrow of his enemies. White whisks that possessed the radiance of the moon had golden handles, were used to fan him. He was as radiant as clouds tinged with lightning. He was praised by bards and eulogized by panegyrists. Gandharvas began to honor the descendant of the Kuru lineage. In an instant, the loud noise made the panegyrists arose. The clatter of chariot wheels and the hooves of horses were heard. This mingled with the sounds of bells on elephants and the blare of conch shells. The earth trembled because of the footsteps of men. At that instant, one of those in charge of the gates entered. He was young and armored. He wore earrings and his sword was girded. He knelt down on the ground and lowered his head in salutation to the one who had Dharma in his soul. He told the great-minded one that Rishikesha had arrived. The tiger among men replied, "Let Madhava be welcome. Let a supreme argya and a seat be kept ready for him." Varshnaya entered and seated himself on that supreme seat. Yudhishthira asked him about his welfare and honored him with worship. Thus ends that chapter.
Excellent, excellent. Let's leave it there, Mathura.
Yeah, that
So
was
Krishna has
excellent.
arrived.
Absolutely
Wonderful.
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Bravo to everyone. Stop recording now.